My dad found my suicide note. And everything changed. I grew up in a house where silence was louder than words, and where every mistake seemed to confirm my father's favorite belief, that I wasn't enough. Not smart enough, not disciplined enough, not grateful enough. If you've ever lived under constant criticism, you know how quickly it seeps into your skin until it feels like your own thoughts. My name doesn't matter. Let's just say I'm someone who spent years pretending to be fine while inside I was unraveling. This is the story of how I nearly ended my life, and how the person I thought least likely to save me did exactly that. Childhood in a pressure cooker. My father wasn't cruel in obvious ways. He didn't scream every day or throw things. His weapon was disappointment. A sigh when I brought home a grade that wasn't perfect. A frown when I laughed too loudly. A shake of the head when I tried to explain that sometimes life feels heavier than homework. My mother often played peacekeeper, but her quiet nods told me she agreed with him. If I just tried harder, I'd be fine. By middle school, I learned to measure my worth by my father's face. A good day was when he said nothing. A bad day was when he said, "You could do better." Over time, I stopped needing him to say it. I told myself. By high school, I was a ghost in my own skin. I smiled in hallways, laughed at jokes, joined activities. But inside I was exhausted, carrying a voice that never shut up. You're not enough. You're failing. Why are you even here? Slipping into the dark. The first time I thought about ending it, I was 14. I'd gotten a B on a math test, and my father's sigh was louder than the number itself. That night, lying in bed, I wondered if life would be easier for everyone if I wasn't in it. The thought scared me, but also soothed me. Like a door cracked open in a burning room. Over the next 2 years, those thoughts multiplied. I started cutting, tiny marks at first, hidden under bracelets and long sleeves. The sting felt like proof I still existed. My friends never noticed. Or maybe they did and didn't know what to say. I wrote goodbye notes more than once. Folded them, hid them in drawers, tore them up later. Each one sounded the same. I'm sorry. I tried. Please don't hate me. Please don't blame yourselves. I wasn't strong enough. The plan was simple: graduate, then disappear into a hospital bed, or worse. I imagined my father shaking his head at my funeral, telling people I could have done better at dying too. The breaking point. Senior year was supposed to be my victory lap. College applications, prom, plans for the future. For me, it felt like a countdown. I made lists in my journal, ways to make it look like an accident, ways to leave without making it messy for the people who'd have to clean my room. One night, after another tense dinner where my father told me I'd never make it if I kept slacking, I sat at my desk and wrote the longest letter yet. It was specific: what songs to play, who should keep my dog, where to scatter ashes I hadn't even created yet. I folded it neatly and slipped it into the top drawer of my nightstand. For the first time, it felt final. I went to bed almost relieved, as if I'd finally finished an overdue assignment. The discovery. 2 days later, while I was at school, my father decided to clean my room. He never did that. Maybe he was looking for something to criticize, maybe he was bored. Whatever the reason, he found the note. When I came home, the house felt different. My mother's eyes were red. My father was sitting at the kitchen table with the letter in his hands. He didn't look angry. He looked broken. "Sit down," he said, voice low. My chest tightened. I thought I was in trouble. I thought he'd lecture me about being dramatic, about embarrassing the family. Instead, he started crying. I'd never seen him cry. Not at funerals, not at family fights. And now here he was, tears sliding down his face, clutching a piece of paper that was supposed to be my last words. "I didn't know," he whispered. "I didn't see it. I thought I was pushing you to be better. I didn't realize I was pushing you off a cliff." I sat frozen. My brain didn't know where to put this version of him. He came around the table and hugged me. Not a stiff pat on the back hug, but a full, desperate, shaking hug. "I'm so sorry," he said into my hair. "I'm sorry for every time I made you feel less. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry I made you believe you weren't enough. You are. You are enough." Something cracked open inside me. For 2 years, I'd been carrying this weight alone. And suddenly the person who put most of it there was admitting he saw it. That it was real. That he wanted to help me carry it. The first real conversation. We sat in that kitchen for hours. My mother joined us, silent at first, then crying too. My father kept repeating the same phrase: "I don't want to lose you." He asked me to tell him everything, when the thoughts started, how often I had them, what I did to cope. For once, I didn't filter. I told him about the cutting, the notes, the nights I stayed awake planning. He winced but didn't interrupt. "I should have been your safe place," he said finally. "Instead, I became the reason you needed one. That ends now." It was the first time in years I believed he meant it. What changed? The next day, he found me a therapist. He drove me to the first appointment himself and waited in the lobby. He stopped criticizing my grades and started asking how I was feeling. He told me he was proud when I finished assignments, not just when I aced them. He hugged me more in a month than he had in my entire childhood. It wasn't perfect, habits don't vanish overnight, but it was different. He was trying. And I was, too. I started journaling without making lists of exits. I started walking outside just to breathe air instead of calculate risks. I let myself imagine a future where I stayed. It felt strange, like learning a new language, but possible. Looking back, I still think about that night sometimes, the night he found the note. What if he hadn't cleaned my room? What if he'd shrugged it off as teenage drama? What if he'd gotten angry instead of broken? I don't know if I'd be here telling this story. What I do know is that apology can save a life. Not the shallow sorry you feel that way kind, but the kind where someone owns the harm they caused and begs for a chance to do better. My father's apology didn't erase the scars on my arms. It didn't rewrite the years of silence. But it gave me a reason to believe tomorrow could be different. And sometimes that's enough. Where I am now. It's been 3 years since that night. I'm in college now, studying psychology because I want to understand pain the way I lived it. My father and I still have hard days. Sometimes he slips back into old habits, but now he catches himself and says, "I'm sorry, let me try again." That sentence used to be unthinkable. Now it's proof we're both still learning. I'm not cured. Depression doesn't vanish because someone hugs you. But I'm alive. I'm healing. And I have a father who went from being my harshest critic to one of my biggest supporters. If you're carrying thoughts like the ones I carried, I need you to hear this. You're not alone. The voice that tells you you're worthless is lying. Sometimes it takes someone else to break through that lie, but you deserve that breakthrough. You deserve to stay.